Another question in the Q&A is how long does it take for Cleric to build useful memory on a new environment? When you drop Cleric into an environment, the background discovery starts immediately, so we're constantly running that. There's, of course, an initial mapping and scanning, and then we're slow polling and continuing to update that map. That is informed heavily by the changes that you ship. So if you're constantly changing one service, we're going to keep updating that and making sure that we have a good sense of that. Or if alerts are firing for one service, there's kind of a recency bias that we have that just makes it more effective. Of course, past investigations accumulate with each alert. So every time there's an investigation, the episodic memories will improve. Skills take a bit longer because they require repeated patterns to be identified. So with skills, you may need to run perhaps a week or two, but it really depends on your team, they are able to interact with the product.
As an extension of Fred's question, are you separating the roles each agent is taking in an investigation flow, such as Confluence agent or infra agent? We do. So it just depends on the context. For the investigation agent, of course, we use a concept of subagents, and they have different roles. So, like we'll have a log subagent, GCP agent, Datadog, things like that. And it's mostly helpful just to conserve context. So if you can abstract the problem or divide it in a way that you don't, like the main agent just needs to know what are the most interesting logs, for example, in Datadog for a certain problem. Then the Datadog subagent can go and find it and come back to the main agent and report back. And then the main agent can use that to adjust its plan and keep proceeding. It doesn't need to know all the intricacies of what's happening on the Datadog side or Confluence side. Hopefully that answers your question. Got another one from Fred. How well does this work in practice? What are the challenges you're seeing? Last year, I'd say it used to suck. It was like, I think with like in the SRE use case, you can't be right 5 out of 10 times or 50% of the time. It's not very helpful. But frankly, now we're at the point where it's gotten good enough that we've shifted our efforts almost entirely on helping people use the agent. So I think it's more constrained by your creativity.